Heaven is not just a distant dream, but a vibrant reality waiting for us. In John 14 verse 2, Jesus assures us that in his Father's house are many rooms, and he's preparing a place for us. Imagine a realm where joy is unending, love is perfect, and we're in constant communion with God. The Bible gives us glimpses of this glorious place, describing streets of gold and gates of pearl. But more than its physical beauty, heaven is where we'll experience the fullness of God's presence. We'll be free from pain, sorrow, and the limitations of our earthly bodies. In heaven, we'll have new, glorified bodies, just like Jesus after his resurrection. This transformation will allow us to see and know in ways we can't even imagine now. One of the most comforting truths about heaven is that we'll recognize our loved ones. The rich man in Jesus' parable recognized Abraham and Lazarus, even though he had never met Abraham in life. At the Transfiguration, Peter, James, and John recognized Moses and Elijah, who had lived centuries before them. These biblical accounts suggest that in heaven, we'll have a deeper, more intuitive knowledge of people. We won't just recognize those we knew on earth, but we'll also know the great heroes of faith. Imagine having a conversation with Abraham, sharing a meal with King David, or listening to the Apostle Paul share his heavenly perspective on his earthly ministry. This recognition and fellowship will be a source of joy and learning throughout eternity. For those of us who have lost loved ones, the promise of heavenly reunion brings immense comfort. King David, after losing his infant son, declared with confidence that he would go to him. This hope sustained David and can sustain us too in times of grief. When we stand at the graves of our Christian loved ones, we can be assured that the separation is temporary. In heaven, families will be reunited, friendships restored, and new relationships formed. Imagine the joy of introducing your great-grandparents to your children, or meeting the faithful ancestors who prayed for generations yet unborn. This hope of reunion should motivate us to share the gospel with our loved ones who don't know Christ. Let's be bold in our witness, knowing that our efforts could lead to eternal reunions. In heaven, our way of knowing and understanding will be dramatically different. Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians 13 verse 12 that we will know fully, even as we are fully known. This suggests a kind of intuitive, immediate knowledge that goes beyond our current capacities. We won't need to study or research to learn, understanding will come naturally and completely. Imagine being able to grasp complex theological truths instantly or understanding the intricate workings of God's creation without effort. This enhanced knowledge will allow us to appreciate God's wisdom and glory in ways we can't even conceive now. Our conversations and interactions in heaven will be rich, deep, and eternally fascinating. When we enter heaven, we'll receive new, glorified bodies. These bodies will be like Christ's resurrected body, recognizable yet transformed. We'll be free from the limitations, pains, and imperfections of our earthly bodies. Imagine never feeling tired, sick, or constrained by physical weakness again. These new bodies will be perfectly suited for eternal life in God's presence. We'll be able to see God face to face, something our current bodies couldn't withstand. This transformation is a testament to God's power and his plan to restore all things. Our new bodies will allow us to fully enjoy and participate in the life of heaven, engaging in activities and experiences beyond our current imagination. One of the most beautiful aspects of heaven is the complete absence of sin and its effects. There will be no more tears, pain, or death. The struggles we face on earth, temptation, conflict, disappointment, will be things of the past. Imagine living in perfect harmony with God and others, never experiencing a selfish thought or hurtful action. This freedom from sin will allow us to love and worship God without any hindrance. We'll be able to enjoy relationships without the complications that sin brings. The end of suffering means that the injustices and sorrows of this world will be fully healed and redeemed. In heaven, we'll see how God has worked all things together for good, even the painful experiences of our earthly lives. Contrary to popular misconceptions, heaven won't be an eternity of passive cloud sitting. We'll have purpose, responsibilities, and meaningful work to do. The Bible speaks of reigning with Christ and being given authority. Imagine using your God-given talents and passions in ways that perfectly align with God's will, free from frustration or failure. We'll be involved in worship, but this won't be limited to singing, it will encompass all that we do. Our service in heaven will be joyful and fulfilling beyond anything we've experienced on earth. The relationships we form and the activities we engage in will all contribute to the ongoing expression of God's creativity and love. Heaven will be a place of continuous growth, discovery, and wonder. As we conclude, let's consider how this heavenly perspective should impact our lives today. Knowing that we're destined for eternal life with God should inspire us to live with purpose and hope. Let's not cling too tightly to the temporary things of this world, but invest in what has eternal value. Our relationships, our character, our service to God, these are the things that will matter in eternity. Let's share the gospel boldly, knowing that we're inviting others to join us in this glorious future. When we face trials, we can endure with patience, knowing that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. As we go about our daily lives, let's keep our eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, eagerly anticipating the day when we'll see him face to face in our eternal home.